Welcome to Bad Gear, the show about the world's most hated audio tools. If there is one kind of instrument that defines the electronic music making landscape of our time, it is sleek, sample-based, doll-less centerpieces like the Digitakt, Black Box or the protagonist of today's episode, the Polyend Tracker. There are few things all these boxes have in common: an unorthodox concept followed through relentlessly, seemingly pointless limitations, a healthy price tag and endless online discussions discrediting users as hopeless hipsters. As the certified synth hipster that I am, I have to add another meta layer here, as this machine was sent to me by Polyend as a long-term loan. No strings attached, but I still had to decide: a flawless reputation of impartiality or even more gear. At the first glance, the Polyend Tracker is ticking 48 non-velocity sensitive boxes. Large aluminum jog dial, a more than adequate display, satisfyingly clacky buttons, and a disturbing lack of knobs and encoders. But hey, it's a tracker after all. If you, like me, just started to go down the tracker rabbit hole, here's a quick recap. The whole thing more or less started with Ultimate Sound Tracker in 1987 as a kind of proto-DAW on the Amiga, got hijacked by the demo scene, turned into various mostly freeware permutations like Noise Tracker, Pro Tracker, Octamed and DigiBooster, which was, fun fact, a Polish product like the Polyend instrument, but boasted 16 times its channel count. At the core of all trackers are stock ticker-like displays with simple code defining notes and playback parameters flying by vertically like the Matrix, and although they seem quite intimidating at first, it's easy to wrap one's head around it. Trackers are predominantly software, modern programs like Renoise are available on all platforms, and tracker-based music was created by artists like The Prodigy, Venetian Snares and FX Twin. Where were we? Oh yeah, the Polyend Tracker. The 8 monophonic tracks of the instrument contain 255 patterns of up to 128 steps, triggering a maximum of 48 instruments based on 8 megabytes of mono samples loaded from an SD card. These instruments are not limited to linear audio playback, but can be set to loop. There's sample chopping, and hell yeah, a wavetable and simple granular engine. Each of them comes with a filter, bit crusher, overdrive, multiple envelopes and LFOs. You can apply a range of non-real-time FX like time, and using them on longer samples gives you the opportunity to get a cup of coffee. Speaking of FX, the master section offers reverb, delay, a limiter with sidechain, bass boost and a space enhancer. The tracker can sample from external sources and the built-in FM receiver, but playback needs to be stopped before you hit record. While traditional trackers rely heavily on ASCII keyboard ninjutsu, Polyend implemented several techniques to get information into the machine fast. Each event consists of a note, destination, and 2 FX parameters, which also include essential information like microtiming or velocity. You can either enter everything by hand using the jog dial and 48 button matrix, or make use of the step jump or fill functionality. Dynamic hi-hat patterns created in seconds, no problem. Randomized but musically meaningful motifs,
piece of cake.
I didn't find a way to make real-time recording work for me, and Polyend implemented a horizontal mode too. There are too many workflow hacks to be mentioned here. Meticulous micromanagement of instrument switches and parameters is easy. MIDI information can be transmitted to other gear, and you can even play a relaxing game of lawnmower. Performance mode lets you mix elements of different patterns and temporarily change parameters. Song mode can be used for destructive pattern creation, which is weird but probably useful. The machine is rugged but lightweight, USB powered and mini jack connectors, and the absence of individual outputs are, of course, a total PITA. You can export stems though. Polyend's GitHub-driven update strategy is cool, and I didn't find any major bugs using firmware 1.5. I am mentally prepared to be butchered by Tracker disciples for not including their favorite feature, and the instrument is available new for prices of around 600 transatlantic beer tokens. The Polyend Tracker is a deep and powerful instrument. Are we facing delusional internet criticism, as Ben Jordan put it so eloquently? We have already heard the tracker in today's intro tune. Yes, I reprogrammed the whole thing. Let's go back in time, watch 20 minutes of loop up and see what the factory samples have in store for us. That wasn't so hard. I'm still a bit slow using the sequencer, but the factory samples are excellent.
Synthesizers.
And the wavetable engine allows for interesting synth tones. Time to crank up the difficulty and test the MIDI functionality with a Boss DR202. I can understand why jungle artists like trackers. Polyend did a great job implementing MIDI, but a few hands-on controls and stereo sampling would have made this jam even more epic. While doing research on trackers in general, I tumbled across some sound packs for the 1987 Ultimate Sound Tracker. I wanna know if we can take the original tracker sound to the 21st century in this keygen-worthy down-tempo mod scene wave in honor of Karsten Obarski. Many people tell me that my music sounds like it was taken from an old computer game, and this time I even have an excuse for that. However, the Tracker's engine has little to do with an old Amiga. It sounds pristine, and although there are many presumably intentional limitations, the instrument allows for complex arrangement. If you come from a different school of music creation, and I certainly do, the Tracker will force you to approach the production process from a different angle. Although I enjoy the Tracker workflow, I am missing a few amenities, most prominently a more knob-laden interface, stereo sampling and a couple of minor UI tweaks. I'm curious which seemingly obsolete archaic music production technique will end up in a hip groovebox next. Maybe sheet music? Thanks for watching and see you next time! Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the episode. Feel free to like, subscribe, become a patron and leave a comment what other kind of gear you would like to see and hear on the show.